Hi, I want to welcome everyone back to another episode of Soul Impact. With me today, we got my good friend Doug. Doug
Hey
Drizzle.
man, how's it going?
Good. How about yourself? So, Doug, how about you
What?
tell everybody a little bit about yourself? Kind of introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a let me see, 53-year music business professional. Started when I was 11 years old, and been really is the only thing I've ever been involved with my whole life is the music business, and maybe a couple years in television. So um, I write, I perform, I own two radio stations. I'm busy, and
So,
and that's pretty much it. I mean, I've had some pretty good success with songs I've written and stuff, and I mean, life's been good.
so how'd you get your start?
You know, exactly how I got it was a place. I think I told you about it. We had talked about this before. There's a place on Twin Bridges between Houston and Licking, and it became a church, but at one time it was called the Four Gables Supper Club. And I played there and for New Year's and made $33 a person in sixth grade. And in sixth grade, that's big money. So that's not even any money at all. But when you're in sixth grade in 1972, $33, man, you are doing it. We wound up playing several weeks there, and I kind of caught the bug, and I just never looked back.
So, what's one obstacle? And yes, you did kind of touch on a lot of these already on the episode we filmed that we had some issues with. That's why we're having to refilm
Yeah,
today.
yeah, it's okay. I mean,
Um,
yeah,
so some of these are going to be repeated questions, just like I
let's
said.
do it, man.
So what's one obstacle you have gone through in your life that either writing your music or listening to music has helped you overcome?
Well, I think my problem in life has never been drugs or alcohol. My problem has been I've been married three times. So I think my songs have helped me heal from my first two marriages a lot, in that I've written songs that, you know, I speak of a song I wrote called I Just Saw a Ghost. And it pretty much talks about how these things pop up in your head. And writing those songs like that, like I Just Saw a Ghost, have made me really be able to cope with what's happened in the past.
If someone wants to listen to your music or some of the music you wrote, where can they find it at?
Oh, it's all over the internet. YouTube. There's videos on YouTube. It's on Spotify. But most of my music is under the name Doug Deforest. I've performed under that name for years, and I really started working hard under that name whenever my son got into comedy and had a TV show, Doug Drizzle Jr. And so it really cemented the fact that we should use two different names professionally. You know, so people wouldn't get us confused.
So, what's been your lowest point? You kind of hit on it with your divorce,
Oh yeah.
but
Well, yeah, that
what
that was a bad day, man. The first divorce was a bad day, and that was the lowest point. Is whenever I came home from having a pretty much a hit TV show in Nashville, flew home, and my bank account was emptied out, and my house was empty, and I had nowhere to turn and nowhere to go. That was a tough time.
and is that the song you wrote? I just seen a ghost over.
Well, it's one of the things, I mean, as you go through life, the people that you've loved and invested time in, um, when they can't understand the rigors of what you're going through on the road, um, and they leave you, and yeah, I just saw a ghost is about those people. I see them pass through your life in front of your eyes. You see people, even though like my first wife and I are good friends, and but I see those days when it was dark, and you can't help but see them. So yeah, that's kind of what I just saw a ghost all about. Is seeing somebody from your past that you can't believe is gone.
So, um, I know you did tours and everything.
Oh yeah,
Why don't you name some of the people? Like I said, we've already kind of talked about this in our messed up
yeah, yeah.
episode.
I'll bring them up. Sure. I played for years with Mickey Gilley, Johnny Lee, Ray Price. Played with Ray Price for a long time. Did some stuff with Sammy Davis Jr. Did over the years with running the Academy of Country Music Awards in Arkansas. I have played with Colin Ray, Liam Womack, several times. Pam Tillis, a whole bunch of people.
So, who's been your favorite person you've toured with?
Well, Gilly was my favorite boss. What a great guy it was, man. When I was younger and he was younger, he was full of life. And if he was eating, you were eating. If he was drinking, you were drinking. He was buying. He was just a really good guy, and probably the nicest boss I ever had.
So, who would you say your biggest music influence is? That
Oh, that's easy. Paul McCartney. I mean, I've said this before. It's like when I was 3 to 4 years old, I sit in front of the TV in Raymondville, Missouri, and my grandpa's house, black and white TV, waiting for on Ed Sullivan for the Beatles to come on. And the Beatles, it's funny. I'll elaborate. The Beatles came on, and I was enamored. I love Paul. I was like, that's my guy. That's who I am. That's what I want to do is play bass. I didn't know it was bass, but I knew it was not like the other guitars. And then my dad came up behind me. I remember him saying, "You like that, son? Well, check this out." And he held out a 6-string guitar, tiger print. I'll never forget. And I actually cried because it wasn't like Paul's guitar. You know, I wanted a bass guitar. I didn't know I wanted a bass guitar. Well, I wound up playing bass for a living my whole life, playing on thousands of records for 1,000 different people, for Glenn Campbell, Tony Orlando, Pam Tillis. I've played on many, many records, and all because of that influence that night in Raymondville, Missouri.
big old city of Raymondville. I know a little bit about that.
Yeah, big city, buddy. The big city.
That's some big city living right there.
Yeah.
So, if you could give a piece of advice to someone as a young, struggling artist, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them that every minute that you doubt or slow down is another minute you can't get back and pull back into the picture. Always move forward and never doubt. If you decide you want to do the music business, remember there's 2 words: music and business. You have to know them both. It's not a big old party where you get to drink and chase women and do drugs and have a ball. If you want to be successful, music and business, 2 words. And if you learn both sides of it and you are talented and you have the stick to itiveness, things can happen for you, even from Rainville, Missouri, or wherever.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure as an artist, you deal with people judging you based upon how you look, like basically.
Yeah, they do. You know, I mean, even at my age in my 60s, you know, all through my 40s and 50s, people would look at you and they would, you know, everybody. We're all mutts in the Ozarks, you know. I mean, we are. We're just mutts, you know, and so people would oftentimes judge your character by what they see on the outside and never bother to see the inside. And sometimes you're dressed just right on stage, your hair is just right, you look just right, and people judge you in a positive way that you're on, wow, I'm not quite that nice a guy, you know. But you know, they see the picture you want to present. And so present the best picture you can, the one you want to be seen as, because they're going to see it.
Exactly. It's all about how someone that's in the music industry myself, I run a lot of sound for different bands.
Sure.
It's a lot about how I present myself. If I go
Yep.
into it, man, I don't want to be here. I'd rather be somewhere else. You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna tell. Just like when you artists perform, we can tell if your heart is in it or you're just going through the motions.
That's right. And my heart, my pretty much people say, well, how do you play on things like jazz or rock or country? You play on so many different types of records. And that I always tell them it doesn't matter to me. Good is good, bad is bad. And it's not about what I listen to, it's about what I'm working on, trying to make it sound like what people who listen to that kind of music want to hear.
Exactly. So, I was raised on the outlaw country.
Sure.
And we have talked about that on your
Mhm.
interview. Music has evolved throughout the days, okay?
Boy, it has.
So, no matter the genre, like, I love that traditional country, classic rock, but we don't have that niche anymore. I really don't think we do. I mean, we don't have that Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. We don't have that fine cut, rough cut country.
Yeah, there's no new stallions out there. I
Exactly.
mean, they talk about, well, Jelly Roll's different, well, Post Malone's different. Yeah, but it's not country. I mean,
No,
it is what
no,
it is, and that's great. I don't have any problem with that. But how can you call it country when these people don't even know the first Haggard song? They don't even know a Jerry Reed song. They don't know. They don't know. And
exactly.
how can you say, well, this is country music when those guys don't even know how to pay homage to the old stuff?
To the classics,
Yeah.
And speaking of a classic, today's kind of a sad day. I don't know
Oh
if you,
yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but Ozzy
Ozzy
passed away.
Osbourne,
You
terrible.
know, you know
You know.
that's the king of a music industry right there. I mean,
Well,
that's
yeah.
some shoes I wholeheartedly believe that's never going to be filled again. I mean, he touched
Oh
so
yeah.
many hearts through his music because and I'm sure you can relate that music, what your mood is depends on what you listen to, and I'm
It
sure,
is.
if you need a fight song, I'm sure you're going to listen to some of the heaviest stuff you can find that pumps you up.
Oh
Versus,
yeah. I remember in the '80s, Eye of the Tiger. It's like I went to see Rocky. What was it, 3 or 2 or whatever that Rocky '95? I don't know. And Eye of the Tiger was in it, and it's like, man. And then years later, I met the lead singer, and you're thinking this song moved me so much when I came out of that theater. I was ready to like run 100 miles and kick somebody's butt. You know,
yeah, but
you know what I mean?
oh, I wholeheartedly know what you mean. So, tell us kind of what you got going for yourself now. Kind of what you doing now?
Well, I purchased 2 radio stations. I still live in Cherokee Village, Arkansas, but I purchased 2 radio stations in Missouri, and I'm spending a lot of time back up here now near Raymondville, Mountain Grove, and Kabul, and spend a lot of time just, you know, I changed gears a little bit. I'm in my mid 60s, and the traveling was wearing me out, and it was time to do a little bit something different.
So, where can they find your radio station at?
You can go to the Haas FM, thehaasfm.com. That's my Red Dirt station, which Red Dirt's really, we play outlaw too. So, it's like that's Red Dirt is a type of music that a lot of people hear go, what's Red Dirt? Red Dirt is a genre and section of the world where they still play country and rock twinged country that is made by unsigned bands and bands that just kick butt. And so we brought that to the Ozarks, and then 92.5 is a station called Ozark Mountain Groove, and you can find that at ozarkmountaingroove.com. Stream them. They're fantastic to stream. Ozark Mountain Groove is funny. My son Doug programs that. He does a great job. And all kinds of little funny quips and stuff, and we just have fun. So ozarkmountaingroove.com and thehaasfm.com.
So, why the big change? I know you said because you're getting up there, but
Yeah,
is the
I
radio
just
station something you've always wanted to do?
no. No.
How'd you get the idea of jumping into from writing and touring to being a disc jock at a radio
Yeah.
station?
I never I never thought I was going to be a disc jockey. I've always done voiceovers because my voice is just made for it. But I never really dreamed of it. It's just I knew I needed a new challenge, and being on that end of the music spectrum was something I had never done. So I gave myself the challenge. You know,
Well, I ain't gonna lie, I don't listen to it every day, but I kind of been listening to it a lot more since
yeah.
I got the link from you.
I
Um,
mean, I'm telling you, sitting around the backyard cooking up a hamburger or whatever, it's great stuff. The HossFM.com is it's music that you go, wow, I've never heard that song. I kind of like it. I've never heard it. Like
so
See You With My Eyes Closed, Mood Ring. These are songs you don't hear on other radio stations. You hear them at the Hoss.
so are these artists on there all unsigned?
No, a lot of them have a developmental deal with a big label, but most of them are just Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas artists that are operating independently in one way or another. Some of them actually. I own three record labels with Sony, and some of them are on one of my labels. But these are distribution labels, which really that's all we do is distribute.
So if someone wanted to submit something for you to listen on the radio, how would they go about doing that?
Just send it to Doug Deforest, DougDeforest 2000. That's DougDeforest and the number 2000 at yahoo.com, and just say, hey, I seen you on the podcast. I want you to hear my song. I'm always happy to listen.
All right. What's a song? And I know we kind of named some, and we heard some on the radio the other day when I was down there. Um, what's the new artist you kind of heard that kind of has your eye right now?
Man, there's a guy named Parker Newby that I played, actually wound up playing, singing harmonies on his record and playing a little bit. I heard the final take of that from a buddy of mine, and I'm playing that. Parker Newby's he's somebody that's coming. He's on the come. It's good. I of course like all the standard classics like the Stoney LaRue, who's a great Texas singer songwriter. I think this group that two big artists in Red Dirt, which are Roger Krager and Kevin Fowler, put together a group called Dos Borrachos, and their records sound fantastic. I mean, if there's any chance of somebody making it again in another setting, it's Dos Borrachos, which is Spanish for two drunks.
So we're probably going to get ready to wrap this up, but you got any last minute advice that you ain't already shared that you would like to?
I just want everybody to know that the spirit of music, like what you're doing here, I'm going to brag on you a little bit. Willie stepped up. He talked to me, and then he didn't realize I was even on the radio, and he came over and did a radio interview. There are so many things about the music business. If you ignore one, it could be the very route that you needed to take to be a star. Somebody can be watching us today, get a nugget of truth out of it, and go do something so outrageous that it works. Do everything you can. Do Willie's show. Do different people's podcasts. Get your music out there. It's very important. Make sure
Yeah,
people understand how to find you.
actually, and I'm ready to put this out there. I ain't made the announcement yet, so we might as well do it here.
Let's do it.
I'm actually getting ready to join a podcast network, and
Great.
it's going to be the same podcast, so it's going to be under the social. Hold up a minute, let me get the name right.
I know you're kind of like me. It's like, I know it, but I can't think of it.
Give me just a minute. My brain goes at 90 miles an hour. Oh, it's the Scene Projects. It's a big, well-known
Cool.
podcast, and he's actually been nominated for Podcast of the Year last year.
Wow.
So he's actually reached out to me today. So now I'm going to come on board. I'm still running my podcast. It's still going to be run my way, but it's going to be through his networking. So I'm going to be able to reach that many more people and that many more artists. So pretty
Well,
excited.
look, man, I'm really excited for you, Willie. You know, you've known my family for a long time, and I'm excited that you asked me to be on your show.
And I'm honored for you to be here because, like, for me, one of my moments I remember is you being at the Rainville picnic playing in the band. I
Yeah.
mean, the fondest memories when you grow up and you ain't got a lot of money and you come to the carnival and you listen to music. You know, you kind of remember them bands.
Yep. That could have been our band or it could have been Leela Martin, but whatever it was, I'm sure we had fun. You know.
Alrighty, buddy. Well, we're gonna call that a wrap.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on your show, and you just enjoy this podcast thing. You're doing a great job of it, Willie.
I
Great
appreciate
job.
it, buddy.